It's no accident that sounds like you're leveling up in a video game. 48% of 18 to 29-year-olds have an online dating profile.
Make them work for it.
45% of people say they're more frustrated with this form of dating than hopeful.
There are so many people you can connect with.
Should I swipe right?
Swipe wrong. Swipe wrong. Setting the record straight on dating apps. Everyday people telling everyday stories of the swipe right world with your host, Koss.
Well, I know he had a good time.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night. How's everybody doing? Hopefully you're doing fantastic. Welcome to the Swipe Wrong podcast. I am that guy. You know that by now. I'm Koss. I know nobody wants to be that guy, but I'll be that guy. Welcome to the number one podcast amongst people who like to celebrate March 14th. What is March 14th? In case you're going, what is March 14th? You got to look it up. Steak and Blowjob Day. Should be celebrated every day, but you know, some people think Valentine's Day is kind of that made up holiday. So there's another one that's completely and totally made up, and that's March 14th. So don't just celebrate that on that day. You could celebrate like Christmas. Okay, once a year. Sure, totally get that. Thanksgiving, once a year. But Steak and Blowjob Day, I think that should be a couple times a week, maybe. Hopefully everybody's doing outstanding. Really excited for this week. Let's do the housekeeping really quick. Like I said, you guys know who I am. I'm that guy. I'm Koss. Thanks for listening to the show. We're finding that the show is a lot bigger than we anticipated, than we thought, I should say. I had no idea. Thank you all, but please keep doing us that favor, sharing, following, liking, subscribing, send it to everybody. If you want to tell your story, we want to hear it. I know we say it 50 times, but I'm going to say it again, 317-426-6616. You can call, you can text. You can send a raven if you want to go all Game of Thrones. That's cool. If you want to email us, please do that. Email us at swipewrongpod@gmail.com. Thank you, Jay, for doing everything that you do. Please head to Amazon, pick up his book, Musician's Playbook. You can order that off Amazon, and it's a great read, easy read, awesome read, and the dude does an amazing job on the show. So this week, so we're breaking this episode up. Half of it is this week, and the other half is going to be next week. So it was a great conversation. One of those things where I am completely, totally, awesomely lucky enough to meet some of these amazing people for the first time, sometimes just on the show. And when that happens, it kind of plays out into getting it, but it's just like immediate, awesome conversation, awesome stories. She was great. And so we're just going to break it up into 2 episodes. So you'll catch the first half this week and you'll catch the second half next week. So you know what we do now. Sit back, relax, put your feet up, grab your popcorn, get it buttered, throw some caramel on there if you want to. If you don't want to, that's okay too. If you're in traffic, please do us that huge, huge favor and don't hit that person next to you. And enjoy Morning Mugshot.
Disclaimer: the views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions or any entities they represent. This podcast is about dating experiences. It is not to say one dating app is better or worse than another.
One of the best things about what I get to do, other than being that guy sometimes, as we talked about a second ago, and nobody wants to be that guy, is I get to meet some awesome people like yourself. And like, this is the first time that we've talked. So it's you telling your story, however you want to do it. So have you been on the apps? What's your dating life like? Because you're a beautiful, awesome woman from what I've gathered so far. So I am sure you are just flooded with guys just going, I don't know, compliments, candy, hey, I'll take you a trip around the world, or let's go eat pie. I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You know, I got separated from my ex in 2020. And then that was right smack bam in the middle of the pandemics. And I was still living in Tokyo at that time. So I thought, well, I want to move back to Amsterdam anyway. And so it's not gonna make much sense for me to date here. So I went on a few dates, and then I thought, wow, I'm not gonna meet anyone here anyway. And if I do, it's not gonna work out because I'm already set on moving back. So for a year, I didn't do anything and just have fun with my girlfriends. And then when I moved back to the Netherlands, initially, my daughter was with me. So I was very concerned with what the impact would be on her if I would be dating someone. So the first year coming back from Tokyo, I was like, yeah, I'm only going to do coffee dates. I just want to get to know people better. And I was more thinking long term, like, is this a guy I can see myself with and introducing to my daughter and that kind of thing. So I was taking it very seriously. And yeah, maybe it wasn't even that fun either, because it was more like almost like a job interview type setting.
Sure. Yeah, sure. You're screening people to see if they'll pass. Hey, is this an all right guy or is there crazy? Where's the red flag? Let me find the fucking red flag here. What's happening? It's probably what it felt like, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And also, it was so complicated because I was a single mom, and I couldn't find any teenagers to babysit my daughter. So all of the babysitters were charging like $20, $25 an hour. So it's also in terms of return on the investment. A lot of the guys, I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to spend so much money on a first date. You know if I even like you or not. So yeah, the first year was really hard in terms of dating. And then my daughter, the next summer, my daughter moved away, and she went and lived with my ex in Tokyo. And there was this Facebook post of a woman, a Polish woman, who was living in what was it? One of the islands in the Mediterranean, Cyprus or something like that. But in any case, she said, oh, I'm coming to Amsterdam tomorrow. I need a place to stay for like 2-3 weeks. Is there anyone out there who has a room? And I was like feeling a bit lonely because my daughter just left. And I said, yeah, sure. Why don't you come and move in with me? And yeah, she ended up staying the whole summer, and we started bonding and started talking about dating and everything, because she's single too. And then she said, why are you taking this so seriously, this whole dating thing? Why don't you try to have a bit of fun first and not focus so much on, is this the guy I want to have a serious relationship with, but just enjoy the whole process, and then later on decide, like, do I even want a relationship with this guy or not? So then I kind of swung the other way. Then I was all about, yeah, let's have fun. I don't care. Let's just see where this goes. So maybe I had a bit too much fun.
No, not a thing. Not a thing. No such thing as too much fun. Not at all. Just more experiences. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. I was dating incessantly, like 5 dates a week, and I'm lazy, so I would always.
That's not lazy. 5 dates a week is definitely not lazy. So I'm sorry.
No. But I mean, in terms of where to set up the date and stuff like that. So I would always go to the same place. I would insist that the guy would meet me there because it was convenient for me. But I could see the bartenders look at me like, oh, okay. So this is the 4th night in a row we see you with a different guy here. Like, what's going on? So that was kind of funny. Like, at one point they were like, I'm guessing you want the usual. So it's a little bad when people know your favorite drink because you go there every other day with another guy. So yeah, that was fun. And then at one point, the lady that was living with me was like, yeah, maybe you can find some middle ground to chill out a bit.
Oh, she's straight. Look, here's to living your best life. That's what I'll say. You just live your best life. So hopefully it was enjoyable. So she tried to get you back on center. Is that kind of what it was?
Yeah, exactly. She was like, yeah, I mean, I did tell you to have more fun, but I mean, not like coming home drunk and unable to say your own name kind of fun. So maybe we can tone it down a little.
Like,
So
I want you to have more fun. I don't want you to have all the fun, I think is what, yeah, there you go. But yeah, okay.
yeah, exactly. She was like, yeah, let's not go overboard here. So it was good for me to have her there to kind of stabilize me and
Sure.
getting back to that center. And during my marriage as well, my life really revolved around my ex and about
Sure.
my daughter, like what do they
Sure.
want, what do they need. So it was kind of hard to rediscover myself, like who am I, who is
Right.
Nicki, like who is this single woman
Right.
that lived in Tokyo all this time, like I'm not a wife, I'm not a mother, who
Yeah.
am I as a person? So
Yeah.
I guess I needed that time of self-discovery.
Yeah.
And um
So can I ask you a question? So like
yeah,
when you
sure.
go through that, like I've heard a lot of people mention, like you spent so much time living as a wife, living as a mother, you kind of forget what makes you happy, what you enjoy, and you also did you kind of feel like you wanted to feel like you still had it? I mean, like, whether it be, affection from somebody else, sex, just dating in general, and feel like people to be wanted again?
Yeah, exactly. The reason my ex and I broke up was due to the fact that he was seeing someone else.
That
So,
sucks. I'm sorry.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you start doubting yourself, like, do people still want me? I mean, at one point, I did have the impression that a lot of guys could literally just fuck a paper bag as long as I can
Sure.
find any of the holes.
Yeah, yeah. They try to
So,
find a glory hole in an igloo. I understand totally. Yeah.
exactly. Like, especially with the whole swiping
Mhm.
thing, I felt like a lot of the guys just swipe right on everyone
Mhm.
and just look at the picture and like, oh, okay, well, looks okay, swipe.
Yeah.
And then after you get a connection, then actually read the profile and be
That's
like,
exactly it.
she's this, oh, she's
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
never mind,
Yeah.
let's block her or whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was a real eye opener for me as well. Like I guess women look at swiping differently than men do.
Sure.
Women are very disconcerting before they actually swipe, and
Sure.
they do the whole weeding out all of the bad guys
Sure.
before swipe, and the guys are the other way around. They're like, yeah,
Yep.
let's swipe right on everyone, and then
Yeah.
when she actually wants to talk to me, let's see who they are and if
Yep.
we like them or whatever. So yeah,
You're so right.
that's not great on your ego when after connecting with someone you never hear from them again, or after
Yeah.
you're talking. And that's another thing, I feel there's also a lot of lonely guys out there on dating
Mhm.
apps that just want there for the attention or like a free therapy session or
Mhm.
whatever. And as soon as you mention like, let's go for a drink, let's go for a date, because I'm
Mhm.
not here
Yeah.
just to talk to random guys all night, then suddenly they're no longer interested. They're like, oh, okay, no, that's
Yeah.
not what I mind at all. Like,
Yeah.
why are you even here?
Yeah. So let me tell you, like a couple of things that you hit on. Like one, I had a friend or a person I spoke to about the show once who called it power swiping, where he would just log into Tinder or Bumble or Facebook dating, and he'd just swipe right, just boom, boom, wouldn't look, just swipe right. And then when it would match, do exactly like you're saying. Then he'd read the profile, see if there's, and then, decide if they were going to connect or not connect. But the other thing that you're talking about too, that is so right on, is a lot of times with, I feel like I ran into this a few years ago myself, is when I would connect with women, certain women on there, I feel like they talk and talk. And then when go to meet, they would kind of, and they kind of back off. And I was starting to think, I'm like, I wonder if it was a lot of married people who were on the apps who weren't getting some sort of emotional connection with somebody, and then got on the apps as a married person, had this conversation, but didn't want to take it any further than cheating on their spouse, like, or husband or whatever, and do anything physical, but wanted some sort of emotional connection over it. That was my take on what might have been happening. Same thing that you're talking about. Like, you're like, what the heck? So I assumed it might have been married people.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was about, but like as soon as you discuss like, oh, can we talk, or some people are really uptight about that, and
Yeah.
like I don't know, they can get very defensive somehow when you talk about meeting them, and they feel you kind of need to earn the right somehow, or almost.
Really? Is that what you felt
Or
like you ran into? What happened?
yeah, sometimes like, if you mention like, oh, I don't want to waste too much time on these apps or on WhatsApp or whatever, or just
Uh-huh.
talking, I'd rather just meet in person, because that way you get a much better impression of how
Sure.
someone is and what their values are and that kind of thing. Because I feel in the app you're just going around in circles,
Yeah.
and sometimes people would actually be offended if I mention that and be like, oh no, I first have to get to know you better, and I cannot meet up with you that quickly, and that kind of thing. So I
That's
was
weird.
really, really surprised by that, especially
Sure.
coming from guys, being so
Yes.
overly sensitive about that kind of thing. And I even had guys like, I had one person that asked me, are you a transsexual?
What?
Straight off the bat. Yeah. Are you
What?
transsexual?
Like, that's the greatest come online ever. What the fuck?
Exactly. I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, yeah, because Nicki is kind of like
Oh my
a
God.
name that can be used both ways. And
Oh.
I don't know, from some of your photos, I thought you were a very attractive transsexual. And
Oh my God. I wouldn't know how to take that compliment. I'd be like, what? No.
exactly. And another thing I got a few times, because there's this rooftop bar at this hotel where I always wanted to meet up with people, because of the parking is amazing.
Yeah.
I never had to make any reservations. A good view, nice drinks, nice
Nice.
people. It was never super crowded because it was kind of like a hidden gem. Not many people
Uh,
knew about it. And then I had a few times people ask me, are you an escort?
because you look so great and you were there all the time, right?
Yeah,
I hope. Yeah.
no, yeah, no, because I asked for them to meet in a hotel bar. They thought like,
Okay.
oh, okay, so after the date, she's going to ask me to go to her room and that kind of thing. I'm like, even if you think that, maybe not say it, just see
No
where the
kidding,
date lands.
right?
And if it's not going the way you like it, then pull the hell out, say you're going to the bathroom and I'll come back or something. But to even suggest that I'm an escort is, to be honest, quite shocking. And
Yeah.
uh, yeah,
Little demeaning, a little off.
that's
Like, if you're
not how
dating,
you.
here's my first date. One, I asked if she was a transsexual, and then the next one, I asked if she was an escort. Those are like two totally no, no, no. Like, how about just
Exactly.
enjoy the experience with a wonderful woman?
Exactly. It's just
Oh,
weird, It's just, there's so many weirdos out there. It's that,
yes.
in a way it's fun, but also it can be quite off-putting. Like there was this one guy that I had a date with. It was a coffee date, so it was in broad daylight. We were talking for a few minutes, and we first talked about Biden and how he was inappropriate with women and that kind of thing. And I said, yeah, apparently he's been getting some issues over the fact that he asks women if he can sniff their hair. And then he thought that was an opening and he was like, oh yeah, actually I want to sniff yours. Is that okay? Like, that wasn't an invitation. No. And then next, after I said no, he was like, oh, okay, this is a good time to start mentioning that I developed a foot fetish in primary school because there was this girl sitting next to me and we were rubbing our legs together during class. I was like, oh, well, it's been fun, but it's getting kind of late.
Oh, look, my mom's calling me. I gotta go. Oh my gosh.
I need to wash my hair and my dog and my homework is
right.
due and oh my God.
Definitely got to wash my hair and my feet. I definitely have to do those. I definitely have to.
Exactly. Like, yeah, and even sometimes guys that are like, yeah, I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but do you have an OnlyFans page?
Oh my gosh. What's the right way to take that? I'm curious. I'm just
Exactly. Like, take it as a
sure.
compliment.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you want to see me naked. I understand that, and you'll pay for it evidently too. Okay, but how do I not take that in the way that you mean it? Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Exactly.
That's
Like,
first date too, right?
yeah, there's so many weirdos out there. It's like,
Yeah. When you
blows
think
your
of
mind.
like the worst, and I hate to like to because I'm sure there's quite a few, but when you think of like the worst date, is there one that sticks out more than others?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
please
I
do
have
tell.
one that's my absolute number one horror story. It wasn't a dating app story. It was actually uh one of my coworkers had his birthday and I went to his birthday party and there were a lot of people, so I didn't get to talk to all of them.
Uh-huh.
Only stayed like for an hour or so just to say hi and give the present. And then after the birthday party, my coworker came up to me and said, oh, there's this guy who saw you at my birthday party and he's really into you and keeps asking if you would go on a date with him. And I kept saying, no, 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 I don't feel like it. I don't even know who you mean and who he is, and let's not do that. And then he just kept insisting. And after a certain time, I was like, oh, okay, fine, I'll go on a date with him. So we went on a date, and I was sitting opposite him, and so I was just talking like, so what are your hobbies? And he said, oh yeah, I really like ice hockey. I used to play semi-professional, but I don't do that anymore. I stopped and now I just coach kids. So I was like, oh, okay, so what happened? And then he said, oh, actually, I got a puck in my teeth.
Oh,
And
shit.
then I had to get false teeth, like dentures, because they were completely destroyed. Do you want to see? And then he
Oh,
like this is like, no, 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 no. That's
oh
fine.
my
That's fine. That's
God.
fine.
Oh,
So
shit.
change the subject. So what do you do for a living? Oh yeah, I make boxes. So I was like, oh, boxes? What kind of boxes? Like a furniture type thing? And then we were speaking in Dutch, so that's why he said boxes, but in English it would be translated differently. But in any case, then he said, oh no, actually they're coffins.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so you're a coffin maker? He's like, yeah, 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 yeah. And during lunch, I often take a nap inside the coffin. And yeah, it's a really relaxed job. I like it a lot. So after the date, I was like, okay, I don't want to see this guy again. And then about a week later or so, I got a call from him. He was like, yeah, I really need to see you. I need to ask you out and I need to talk to you. I was like, yeah, I've been really busy. It's not going to work. I'm not going to be free on weekends for at least a month or longer. But he kept insisting. And I said, well, you can pick me up from work tonight. you would literally be a taxi driving me from work to home. I don't have time to see you when we get to my place, so don't expect an invitation to come up. You're more than welcome to drive me over, but that's the only thing that's going to happen. If that's okay with you, then I'm fine with that. If you want to be a glorified taxi, then be my guest. So he was like, oh, yeah, I'll take it. I really need to talk to you. I really need to see you. I'm like, okay, fine, if that's what you want. So he picked me up from work. We drove home. He was like, oh, I went to Universal Studios or something, and I got you a gift. And I really, really want to give it to you. I said, okay, fine. I mean, I didn't ask for it. I wasn't expecting anything. We only went on one date. I wasn't too thrilled about the whole experience. But anyway, sure, give me the gift. So he gave me the gift, and I was like, okay, thanks, bye. And he's like, aren't you going to open it? I said, no. Like I said, I'm in a hurry. I'm going to go up. I'll text you later. So I took the gift, and I was in my flat, and my flatmate was there, and she was like, oh, what is this? I said, oh, this weirdo just gave me a gift. I only saw him once, so I feel it's kind of inappropriate, but in any case. So I opened it up. It turned out it was a mug with his face on it.
Oh my God. Who thinks somebody likes that?
Every day.
Oh my God. He loves himself, some of himself, doesn't he? Love me some me.
Exactly,
Oh my God.
exactly. I need you to wake up before you've had your first coffee, open the kitchen cabinet, and have me staring right.
Oh my God. Did you text him and say thank you, or did you just block him right then?
Yeah, I just said, this has been great, but I don't think this is gonna work out. So he was really devastated, and he kept coming over to my work, hanging
No.
out, and talking to my coworker. I said, no, this is
No.
it. The mug is the final straw. I'm not gonna take any more of his crap. I'm sorry, but not sorry.
Yeah, no kidding. That is fucking crazy. That is so bizarre to think that you might like that. You go out on one date and so I know. I mean, like, who says that? I know what she'll like. I'll put a picture of myself on a mug and she'll love that. She'll totally love that. Who thinks of that?
She'll want to be with me forever when I show my devotion in that way.
Should have been on Valentine's Day. That would have been the clincher. I mean, that would have been the one right there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I had one guy who may have topped that.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, I went on a group holiday on a bus with like 40 other people. And it was back in the day when people would do this email change, remember?
Yeah, I remember that
So
for sure.
after the holidays, we exchanged email addresses, and there was this one guy who would always send these really lame jokes, like send to all type thing.
Sure.
And forward this to your best friends in 3 hours or you will die type email.
Yeah,
and Bill Gates is giving away his millions. So those kind of emails. So
you'll have bad luck forever. Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, exactly. So I never really paid that much attention to it. He lived all the way in the north of the country, like 4 hours away from me. And I didn't really interact with him during the trip. So I didn't really pay much attention. And then one day he was like, oh, I happen to be in town this weekend. If you don't have anything to do, would you consider going out for dinner and a movie with me? I said, oh, yeah, sure, fine. I don't have anything. I'll go out with you. So we went out together. And then at the end of I didn't consider it a date, but the end of the thing, he said, oh, it's a 4-hour drive for me to get back home. So can I sleep at your place? If you say no, I'm going to sleep in my car outside of your building. So straight away, that was like, let me put a gun against your head.
Yeah, no kidding.
That sounds a bit ridiculous that you're sleeping in your car. I mean, you're allowed to stay in my place, but just know that if you touch me in any way whatsoever, then you're out immediately, and there's no talking about it. That's it. And I'm just going to kick you out and never want to talk to you again. So he said, yeah, sure. I'll be good. I won't do anything. So he slept over at my place. Nothing happened. The next morning, he went home. And then about a week later or so, I was just walking in my apartment. I just happened to look out the window, and I saw this guy with a huge bunch of flowers. I was like, what the fuck? Who is that? So I tried to look a bit closer, and then it turned out to be that guy.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh fuck, I don't want him to come over. So I was just hiding in a corner, trying not to do anything. And he started ringing the door, ringing. And I told my flatmate, like, whatever you do, don't open the door. I don't want this guy to come in. But my dad was coming over the same night. So at one point, I wasn't sure who was at the door. It was about the time that my dad was supposed to arrive. So I opened the door, and it was this guy. And I said, okay. What are you doing here? I mean, he's like, why are you being so rude? Why don't you just ask me in? I just drove 4 hours, and why do you leave me standing here? I'm like, well, because I didn't invite you. I wasn't expecting you. This is not very good timing. He said, yeah, but just invite me in. Let me at least have a drink. I brought you flowers, like these gas station flowers. It's really packaged. I'm like, okay, fine. Come on in. And my housemate came up to me in the kitchen while I was preparing his drinks. Like, who the fuck is this? Who's this weirdo? I said, no, I don't know. This we went out once, nothing happened. I don't know what he's doing here, to be honest. So I went to my room. I talked to him. He said, oh yeah, actually I decided I wanted to see you. So I hopped in my car. I drove for 4 hours to see you. I bought these nice flowers for you. I had such a good time. I really need to talk to you. I want to get to know you better. Sorry, the dog is barking.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I can't hear it.
In any case, so then I said, I had a good time when we met, but I wasn't really into it for anything else. I didn't consider it a date. I'm not trying to get to know you better. I was just didn't have anything better to do. So that's basically why I said yes. So he was really devastated. And then my dad finally did come over, and my dad took me aside, and he was like, yeah, who's this fucking loser? What is he doing in your house?
I think I love your dad.
Yeah. And then he was like, oh, it's fine. I'll get rid of him. So I said, okay, well, good, because I don't know what to do. I don't know. I'm trying to get rid of this guy, but he doesn't seem to want to leave. So at one point, my dad was like, oh, we really need to get going now, because we need to go to the thing. Remember? I said, yes. You're right. We're late for the thing. Come on, let's go. So I'm terribly sorry. Like, oh, we really need to go. I'll message you later or something. And so we got him out the door. We drove around town for an hour because I was scared that he might be following us.
Sure.
Whether we were really going out. And then the next day, my neighbor came up to me and he said, oh, last night there was this guy that came up and rang my doorbell and said he was your boyfriend and that he was supposed to meet you that night, but clearly you weren't in yet, or you weren't expecting him yet. And he asked me to give him dinner because he was so hungry. So I just wanted to know that I gave some food to your boyfriend, and
oh
he
my God.
at my place for you to come, la la la. It's like, oh God.
Jesus.
I hardly know this guy. Why does he go around telling people he's my boyfriend? So then after that, my last name is quite unique. It's a double name. It's not many people in the Netherlands have my last name. So I blocked him on my cell phone. I blocked his email address because he kept calling and being super annoying, asking to see me, talk to me, meet me, everything. And then he went around and looked up all of the people that lived around my area, like the other states around my state as well. And he just randomly started calling people with the same last name, asking whether they knew me, whether I was a family member, saying he was my boyfriend and that he lost my phone number, like my landline number, and whether they wouldn't mind giving it to them. So at one point, he found someone who was stupid enough to give it to him, and then he started calling me incessantly, like threatening to kill himself if I wouldn't see him, stuff like that.
Oh my God. Holy shit. You had a full-fledged stalker.
Yes. So fortunately, he lived 4 hours away, so he didn't come over that often, but it was like really annoying. Like, oh my God, get the message, dude.
Yeah. Did he finally just stop on his own, or did you kind of have to get like meaner and meaner to him?
Yeah, at one point I was threatening him. I said, if you don't stop now, I'm going to go to the police and I'm going to file charges against you because I've already done everything that I could to try to get rid of you, because I really am not interested in seeing you. I don't want to date you. The only reason I went out with you was to be polite and because I didn't have anything better to do anyway. So don't read anything into it. And then he's like, oh, you destroyed my life.
Oh
Can
my
you
gosh.
have another girlfriend after you? Like, we weren't even in a relationship to begin with.
One date. One date. You didn't even kiss him, right?
No, of course not. So,
Thank God. If you did, can you imagine how much more over the top he would have been? Holy shit.
yeah, exactly. And
I
like,
mean, wow.
randomly calling my family members, making out that he was my boyfriend, and just later on calling them as well. Like, what's going on with Nicki? Why is she acting this way? Can you ask her to call me? It's like, no, just no.
Eating dinner with your neighbor saying he was the boyfriend. Oh
Exactly.
my God.
I mean, I didn't even know my own neighbor because it's like a big building and you don't talk to people.
Yeah.
So the first time I spoke to my neighbor was like, yeah, I fed your boyfriend. Like, no.
Oh my God. What a nice neighbor, but what the fuck with the dude? Holy shit.
Exactly. Like,
when you go through something like that, do you just like, oh my God, I don't ever want to date a guy again?
yeah, I mean, I did have some issues after that where I was then when I started dating again, I bought a different phone and got like a prepaid SIM card in it. And that became my dating phone. So I would not give my actual number to guys. I would just give the prepaid card. I would only switch it on certain times. And then
that's a great idea.
Yeah, because if the date didn't work out well, because sometimes you have guys and you go just to watch a movie. You know what my strategy was? I would for the first date, oftentimes I would go to the movie and just meet like half an hour before the movie started, just to have a drink, and then during the movie, at least you don't have to talk. Even if the date is going rubbish, you still are having a good time if it's a good movie. And then after the movie, you've already spent quite a significant amount of time with someone, so you can just easily get away and say, oh, I'm so tired. Great.
Totally.
Yeah. Let's not do this again. and just leave.
Right.
Without having to make too many excuses, as opposed to during the starter, you're already like, oh my God, I just want to leave.
Yeah.
So yeah, but there's always these guys that just don't get it. And like after one
Sure.
day, you messages like, oh, I'm in love with you. Like,
Sure. Sure.
oh.
Sure. Well, and then even with the movie strategy, if it's going well, then you're like, hey, let's go get a nightcap, right? I mean, you can go
Yeah,
ahead and
exactly.
continue and do some things together. It's not like, all right, cool. Let me go have a drink with this guy and see how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. Because so after the movie, you can just say like, "Oh, let's go for drinks. Let's go for a late dinner. Let's hang out. Let's go to my place or whatever." You
Sure.
can.
I love those. I love both of those strategies. I love the prepaid cell phone idea. I haven't, as many people I've talked to, I haven't heard that one yet, and I think that's a fantastic idea. That's
Yeah,
good.
because I mean, now it's not as quote unquote bad anymore because I'm older and I
Sure.
don't date super young guys. But when I was in my 20s, these
Yeah.
guys that were just like, oh my God, like,
Yeah.
has that ever worked for you?
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah. Hey, if you don't go out with me, I'm going to just kill myself. You're like, oh yeah, that's the charmer. That's the one that's gonna do till death do us part. Hopefully it'll come sooner rather than later. I don't get
Exactly.
that. That's one, it's awful. Then you're like, oh, so that's why you're single. I get it now. Okay. Thank you for being along for the ride of the Swipe Wrong podcast. Remember, everyday people telling everyday stories of the swipe right world. The show is produced by Jay Pelham. He is the host of Pelham Place. So make sure to check that out. Also, I am Chaos, the host of Chaotic Commentary. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, tell a friend about the pod. And if you have something that you want to share, please, we want to hear from everybody and get everybody's stories as much as we possibly can. Email us at swipewrongpod@gmail.com. Give us a call, leave us a voicemail. Let us know if it's okay to call you back. 317-426-6616. Thanks for being along for the ride. And next week, the saga continues.